What's good, guys? Today I'm gonna be talking about the trades that I took on Friday. Gonna be breaking down the setup, what I saw, what to look for if you want to trade this strategy, etc. So we're gonna start off on ES. So 9:40 PST. I sent a picture of this chart, um, and I want to talk about basically just the setup in general. So on the 3 minute time frame, the 3 minute time frame has probably been my favorite for my entries and my scalp setups. And just because the 5 minute, you could see it, but I feel like you could see it a lot better on the 3 minute, if that makes sense. Yeah, the setup is still there, but on the 3 minute, you can really see more of the setup and why we're bouncing, where we're bouncing, etc. So the first thing I noticed was this little temporary supply zone that we were creating. This 200 EMA is also acting as support. So every time we come to this 200 EMA, excuse me, we're bouncing off of it. We're not able to really close below it. Like, yeah, we barely close below it right here, but not enough, right? Essentially, we're creating a temporary supply zone on the 3 minute time frame, on the lower time frames, and that's the first thing I drew out. That's the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed was this wedge playing out right here. So you can see, if we kind of just make our chart more vertical, you can see that we're forming this little trend line over here, and we're forming it up here as well. And this is basically a wedge pattern. This is kind of just a price action pattern that traders use. They play the breakout and the retest of it. That's exactly what we did. So that's confirmation number 2. So far we have a supply zone, we have our wedge, and third we had order flow. Order flow I can't show right now, but there were orders targeting this 34 area. We had our POC and our VWAP. POC is our point of control. Our point of control is often kind of clarified as a magnet. VWAP, same thing. It just kind of is a magnet for price. Price wants to go in that direction. So that's our third confirmation right there, order flow. I did say we can play the bounce, right? I did say we could play the bounce, and that's exactly what I did the first time. I played that on NQ right here. I played this right here, 859 to 67. My entry was based off of the supply zone on ES, and also we had this 10-minute 48 or 13 EMA. It was one of the two, but that was my entry point right there. I was playing the bounce of the EMA for a quick 8 points, 2 contracts, easy get in, get out. So that's the first trade. I was just playing kind of the bounce of the supply zone, bounce of the trend line, bounce of the EMA, just kind of riding the trend on what was going on during that time. And after that, I said, play this breakout and retest, right? Now, what I mean by that is we play the breakout of this zone. Play the breakout of the zone. An optimal entry for these kind of shorts would be up here. If you want to short this, you feel like it's a bear flag, you want to grab entries towards the top of the bear flag or the top of the pattern, right? This right here is your optimal entry point, but we didn't really come close to that again. We kind of just came down, had a tiny retracement. This would have been the best entry right here for shorts, and then we fell through. So we broke out of this wedge, right? We broke out of the wedge. We closed below this 13 EMA, this 48, and then we came up to the 200. We retested up here, and then we fell through. We retested this wedge barely. We retested the supply zone, and then look what happened. We just absolutely fell to the floor. Now, another thing is I have my level here as well, this 50-45 level. That could have been a perfect entry as well. Just play zone to zone. You could have done 45 to 40, 45 to 32, even though we didn't come to it. But you guys get the point, right? You guys get the point. I did say close below 50-40, we see 34. And that is quite literally what happened. Where did we bounce off of? 33. I was 1 point off from the bounce. Again, I'm just reading order flow. That is where I got that from. Just strictly order flow telling me, hey, POC is down here. There's some orders at 34. We could bounce. We could chew through that liquidity and push even lower. It's just order flow, right? So that is trade and setup number one. I'm going to be looking for this specific setup a lot more because if you go back and look in the Discord, you can see that we caught kind of the similar setup on the 15th. We had a trend line, we had a supply zone, we had order flow showing that there were orders higher, meaning like this is sort of a magnet for price. This is where we're going to go. This has been one of my favorite setups as of lately. And really shout out to Sergio for really just showing how supply and demand works. It doesn't always have to be on these higher time frames where you play and wait for these supply and demand zones. Yes, they do work a lot more, but if you like to scalp, you like to get 2 to 10 points really easy, really fast, the 3, the 5, and the 10 minute are perfect for these little zones, so you could play for a quick scalp, retest, breakout, whatever, right? So this setup is what I would say optimal. Supply and demand, some sort of pattern, order flow, and our key levels, right? That's 4 confirmations right there. What more could you need? If you don't see a pattern, sub it out for a key level. If you don't see a key level, sub it out for order flow, sub it out for supply and demand, etc., right? The second thing I want to talk about was when I said looking for possible shorts. Reject from 50-50 to 50-55 would be optimal based off order flow. Now, I said anywhere from 50-50, right, to 50-55. This is just kind of as an example of where I was looking to grab shorts. And I will say that this setup right here was strictly order flow. Honestly. Just pure fucking order flow. My bad. You can see that even in the past, we didn't really exactly reject off of this spot. Yeah, we did come close. Yeah, there is sort of a demand zone up here. But this was strictly order flow. And that's why I had such a big range. I had a 5-point range where I was looking to grab shorts. And that's because we had orders stacked up there since before market open. We had those orders just sitting there. And I saw that once we broke down, grabbed this 34 liquidity, we had that really strong push up. You can see volume just kind of leading up to it. Buyers are bringing it up, and then they start to slowly die out, separate stell in, and then we fall to the floor. Really, this trade was just strictly order flow. Like I said, we had a huge amount of sell orders just stacked up there all morning. I got a 50-53 fill because I was waiting to see if we use that liquidity and use those orders to push higher. That's why I didn't just go into it immediately, because sometimes when we do see those type of orders stacked up there, sometimes it does just add fuel to the fire and it doesn't act as resistance. It'll act as support and make the trend continue. And especially when we haven't touched that price during that day, it's really important to do that. Like for example, let's just say right here, 34, we had some liquidity, right? Just as an example. We use that liquidity to push higher. We come back down to this price. What does that tell me? It happened in the past. It's probably going to happen again. That 34 liquidity will probably be used to push us higher, not lower, right? Just kind of an idea of, just a general idea. So yeah, that is basically what I saw during the second trade. Strictly order flow. Just strictly order flow. We kind of did sell off around the same price point pre-market, but we did have news pre-market, so that's why I don't really count it. We had PPI that morning. You can see PPI just sent us to the fucking floor. But we did sell off there earlier. But again, order flow. Order flow, order flow, order flow. Can't get enough of it, man. You can see we grabbed it from 53 all the way to 14. That is 40 fucking points. That is a massive sell into end of day. And we had OPEX. OPEX is essentially when all option contracts are expiring. So you see a lot of volatility. On top of that, it being a Friday with PPI in the morning, it was just going to be a really volatile moving market no matter what. So yeah, that is my YAP session for today on these trades I took on Friday. Again, just to go over it really quick: supply and demand, price patterns, price action, order flow, key levels. That is what I use. Price action, volume analysis, I kind of count that in as the same thing. Supply and demand, key levels, order flow. It's all you need, bro. Swear to God. And stick to 1 to 3 tickers, bro. You don't need to be trading fucking McDonald's, Roblox, fucking Pornhub, all this other shit, bro. Just stick to 2. I stick to ES and silver, but that's all I do now. You master 1, you master 2, you will never need to work a job in the rest of your fucking life, bro. Swear to God. So yeah, that's about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.